Hello everyone, it's me Sign Viper and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'll be doing something a bit different in Warcraft 3 since I do know a bit of use this Warcraft 3 world editor that allows you to pretty much edit maps, create maps, edit maps, create campaigns and edit campaigns and so on. Series where I'll be showing guys do certain things in world editor since I used to get not anymore, but I used to get comments about asking me how I made these maps, like generally back in when I used to do those heroes versus heroes and versus unit videos. A lot of the comments in those videos were typically how you made this camp map or where you got this map from and stuff like that, and well, I made it myself and people wanted to know how I did it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do in this video series. And for first episode or this first part, I'm going to show you the basic. I'm going to teach you the basic about this world editor, like how to start, pretty much start and how to do the most basic things. So without going into proper details, so without any further ado, this is what the Warcraft 3 world editor looks like. Maybe you guys are familiar with it, maybe you aren't. And what you want to do is, in order to create a new map, click over here, new map or CTRLN. When you create new map, this thing will appear. Well, as the name said here, as you can see the map size, how big you want the map to be. But for this I guess I'll just go a 64 maybe. And then this is the playable area. As you can see, not all of 64 is playable. If you want a bit more, then you can obviously go to 96 and 84 would be playable, but I think I'm fine with 64 for now. The unplayable part is the part that is covered by the black area, like this black area over here, because the map, as you can see, goes up to yellow line, but this much inside black area is the one that is not playable. Yeah, that's the thing. And obviously the size division is tiny. If I were to go this, it would be huge. If I were to go something like this, it would be extra small. And on the tile set, you can actually select what the entire map to start out as. Most people do that. Most people start out with the tile set rather than having to plan it, because if most of the map is going to be the same tile, then why not start out with that? Wood, you have dirt, poison, rock, leaves, whatever. So for now I think I'll just go for a lower on summer. It's not problem as long as it is on the water level is none. If you click on shallow water or deep water, then it will be entirely water. So for now I guess I'll just show you. If I click on random height as well as have shallow water, then and if I create the map, then as you can see the map is entirely shallow water. The blue part is shallow water, and obviously it has a random height here and there. And this technically could be good if you want, say if you want a murky land, a watery land, then that is decent. You can start with that. So for now we'll just leave it at 2, leave it at whatever it is, as 2, 64, and the grass as a normal grass and no water and no random height. And this is it. As you can see, pretty light grass all over the ground and no water, no random heights and stuff like that. Now since we have created the land, first things first, I'm going to tell you about since if you are using the Reforge editor, then you have the SD and SD version. As you can see in the grass right now, I'm using the Reforge version. Reforge SD graphics are on. In order to change that, go on file and go on preferences, and on preferences, as you can see right at the second last over here, asset mode. Right now it is SD, which is Reforge. You can change it to SD if you want to graphic and you want to see what it looks like in graphic while editing it, then change it to SD. And once you change it, you actually have to restart the editor. Like even if you have this on SD, that doesn't mean that you can't play it on classic or you can't play it on Reforge graphics. It's just that preference on what graphics you want to see while editing it rather than playing it, because maybe you are creating some costume things and you want to see what it looks like at both, then you can switch the graphics from here and the editor will restart and a new selected graphics will be on. And now we're going to go up here and we're going to talk. Before we are going to talk any of this, we're actually going to talk about scenario. So in scenario, you have map description, map option, map size, stuff like that, and player properties. So we're going to go in map description because we have a map, but what do you want the map to be? So name of the map would be something like, I guess for now we got chapter. If you want less, this is the name of the map. For example, if you are in some campaign, then obviously it should be chapter 1. This is this. If you are just doing a melee map, then just any name you want. Chapter 1 intro, let's just say that. So this is player, as you can any 1, 2, how many you want. Let's say for now you only want 1, then 1, and description of the map, that Cyan Drivers custom map for YouTube tutorial. And obviously in the author you can write your own name or whatever your Warcraft name is. This is the map description. And now in options we have I guess some basic things like, do you want to hide the mini map, do you want to show the waterways on cliffs or not, use a global weather, what the weather you want to be, for example rain, blizzard, snow, whatever you want, rays of light. For now we don't really want anything, so but if you want something, then you can use it from here. Like if you want the map to be entirely be raining or snowing, then you can use it from the global weather, doesn't really matter. And obviously here support mode, if you can actually your map to whether it wants to support certain graphic or not. So if you only do SD, then it will only be playable in SD. If you have only selected SD, then it will only be playable in SD. But by default you can leave it what it is. JS is the language like you use. I don't know about Lua actually, but JS is the language you use for scripting and creating custom spells and stuff like that. But we're not going to get into that right now. And this is the size of the map. Like obviously this is the playable, this is the full map, but this much is the playable, but you can increase the camera size. So for example, I do one step over here, one step over here, and the playable had been increased to 54, and we can do that here as well. And now it's 54 into 54 rather than 52 into 52. So you can change from here. So this way you can actually make the map 64 into 64 playable as well. Okay, yeah, actually one of the important load, this can actually set something else in the description somewhere. So this everything here, the description here is actually before you play the click on play. It's like when you are selecting the map, this is the description that appears when you are just selecting the map. But once you click play on the map, then the loading screen on, and then you have a different titles and subtitles and stuff like that. If you use default screen, it will just the default screen, but if you use the campaign screen, then you can put in titles as well. So this name is actually more preferable over here. Chapter 1, the subtitle, and then the description. I mean, you can, this is the description that people see in the loading when the map is loading, rather than this is at the start. So this actually doesn't really matter if you are doing custom campaigns. This is what people will see in the loading screen. Now over here in the campaign screen is what you want the background to be. So a lot of these tutorial are the default ones, but some of the other ones are obviously, as you can see, credits, generic, or the race based, so into interlude. So these are actually the screen used in the human campaign. So for now let's just go human 5 interlude. I think this interlude is actually right after the calling of Strathholm. I'm not too sure. The preference, what sky you want to be, I guess the sky, whatever you I think so this way you can actually fix the time. Let's go noon. I think noon is all right, fixed time of the day. And the sky as well, we are going to give it load run summer sky. And I think, as you can see, that because of the summer sky, the grass has actually got a bit yellower. That is what scenario is. And now we go straight into the layer. The tool palette will be opened. You can zoom out and zoom in, obviously. So as you can see, this is the terrain palette. So even though you have grass, you can actually change it quite easily, placing bunch of grass, and you can obviously do whatever you want, grass, rough grass, obviously different types of clay. For what you decrease 1, then decrease by 1, decrease 2 is double decrease, so it will be even deeper. Increase 1 is increased by 1, and increase 2 is increased double, so it will be even bigger. And you apply decrease 1 on the increase 2 twice, then it will be back to normal. But since the reason this is blight right now, because we have the apply texture selected, you can obviously turn it off, and it will, if you turn it off, then the default terrain will be applied rather than the blight one. So yeah, that's that. And then we have, obviously, if you want to make a river or a pond, you can create it just like this. Obviously this water is not walkable, and it's not particularly in like a beach area. It's more of a as a cliff area rather than a beach. Then we also have the apply height. So now the apply height is I guess is a bit more interesting because than the cliff one, because the cliff usually creates just cliff, but the apply, by the way, you can increase your size if you want this square or circle and increase it. Apply height has raise, lower, plateau, noise, and smooth. So raise is obviously to raise the ground, rather than creating a cliff that is can't really go, that you can't climb. Raise actually just raises the ground and makes it walkable for units. Units can actually walk on it. You can create certain walkable hills, and you can give the map more life by creating raise or any of the height settings. And obviously lowers it the not just the height one, but lowers the normal one as well, as you can see, creating a huge underground area that is actually movable at a certain point. I think at a certain point at certain angles it won't be, but maybe it will be for now. And obviously plateau creates, so what plateau does is actually it will create a square shape on the raised area. So we have a raised hill here, right? If we apply plateau, and as you can see, it has been squared just like that. It has been squared again. That was applied by raised, still stands. It's just that it will make it squared. Let's say you create a hill from raise, and obviously maybe you want to create a city on that hill, then obviously use plateau to make it more flat, rather than more flat but at a height, so we can actually create a city. And then you have the noise. The noise basically what it does is will create a random ups and downs. So if I create noise, then as you can see, it's pretty much like the random height. It basically creates random ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs. It's pretty much like earthquake or a wave of water actually. Smoothness is, obviously as the name suggests, smoothness pretty much smooths everything to a particular level. So if you smooth on the noise, damn, it has been smooth. Here you can apply it on plateaus. As you can see, the plateau has been smoothed out, quite circular. So the smooth is, as you can see, can be good for smoothing out the edges of those hills. So that is pretty much it for the terrain palette. And now we move on to the some other palette. Obviously camera palette and region palette, we will talk about it later on in some other videos. But region palette is pretty much we can create regions and name it, let's whatever you want. A region property, SV, the region is called SP, and you can move the region as well. You can place these regions are actually useful when creating cinematics or when using certain triggers. But into region palette for now. And the other two important palette are the doodad palettes and the unit palette. Doodad palette, as the name suggests, are a bunch of objects that you can find in the game. So one thing online, so terrain palette, for example, if you have choose Lordaeron at the start when creating the map, we can only select the tiles from Lordaeron. We can't create poison or the other sand or whatever. We can only pick the Lordaeron stuff, we case for terrain. But for doodad, you can actually pick anything. You can literally pick trees from Northrend, snowy ash trees, and you can place it on green grass. So and obviously if you increase the size, then you can place multiple trees at the same time. Each region, as you can see, barrels of explosion, gates. We have icy gates over here. We have certain region specific like igloos, but these are to create, like maybe you want to create a house that is burning on fire, then you create a house and put fire on it. Now what type of caves? Obviously the cave, as you can see, a cave in a shallow water looks nice, or a cave in a normal land. You can add torch, skull pile, skull, branch, and you can apply friends, bones, whatever, or trees. And then we have water. And water, as the name suggests, are things that are to be placed in water. A bunch of fish over here, or you can even ice floating for ice friend. So that's pretty much it for doodad palette. Now we move on to the unit palette. So on the unit palette, obviously what we have is a bunch of units. 1 player, 2 player, whatever player you want to place. So for example, if you're doing a campaign, then maybe you want to place a hero, and maybe you want a few supporting units with him, and any unit you placed under the player 1 category would be player 1's unit. Even if you place a undead. And by the way, these are the melee heroes. Like if you want, this is just the name is Death Knight, right? But if you want the Arthur's name, then go on the campaign, and campaign is where you will find most heroes: Archimonde, Manaroth, Zayden, Arthas, all of them. If you place Arthas while under player 1, then it will be player 1, it will be the same team. These units are for the enemy, at least for now. They are considered enemy or the different player base, pretty much. And in the unit pad, and another important thing about unit pad is the buildings. The buildings that are used in units, upgrading, whatever it is, these buildings are actually also in the unit palette. Another main thing about I guess a basic thing is to remember is the trigger editor over here. So click on the trigger editor and we'll have this initialization. If you are creating a melee map, then leave this how it is. But if you are not creating a melee map, you are creating a campaign map, then I suggest you delete everything on the action area. Map doesn't like start with a bunch of peons, doesn't end when you destroy the buildings or stuff like that. So because in campaign that's not condition, you have to have different conditions, and those conditions you have to create yourself, victory and defeat condition. Those things we will talk about in later episode. You have placed your unit, right? But why are they facing there? Maybe you want them to face here. How do you do that? Well, you can do that pretty much by going to object manager over here. Go on your units, red, obviously red are you are red. If you want your hero to face somewhere else, then what you do is you view objects. So as you can see, it has been selected. This way you can move it. If you use your left click and drag it, then you can move it. But if you use your, so if you keep pressing CTRL and use your left mouse button, then now it will actually rotate rather than move from one place to another. Now you can place them anywhere you want, and if once you have selected just one of them, you can click any of them by just simply one click and press CTRL, turn them around. Another thing, as I said, I have the video, that is the player properties. So you go on player properties. Obviously, as you can see, only player 1 is highlighted because only player 1 has been allowed. So if you create user, that is for a melee map. If you are creating a melee map, then create how many users you want and place them as there. And if you are not computer or neutral, or you can use rescuable. So rescuable are, you must have seen campaigns well. You go near them and you open the door, then they join your team. So those are what rescuables are. So rescuable at the start of the game are actually different player category itself, but I guess I'll show one rescuable to you guys as well. Now this is the forces. So do you want costume forces or not? Yes, we do. In most cases you do want it. Now I guess you can rename it. It's bad guys, pretty generic name I guess, and then good one, and then we drag the orc guys into the bad guys, but the rescuable and us in the undead area. So this way you can actually have a lot of things. Like for example, are the bad guys allied? Are we allied? We are allied as well. Do we have sheer vision? No, because we are going to rescue the undead. Actually, let's have sheer vision, so maybe we can see them. It shouldn't really matter for now, but I'm going to show you guys how the rescuable works. So for that, let's have the sheer vision on, and then take tree. Obviously, what this is for, like for example, obviously if you are doing a campaign and you are beginning of the campaign, then how much do you want the campaign to click costume take trees on, then all of them will be available. If they have enough gold, then maybe they will be able to produce it just like a melee campaign. And like for example, if you use costume upgrade, then you don't want enemies to I don't know, somehow, I guess even yourself, like somehow manage to upgrade up to military force swords at the very first map of the campaign. Do it unavailable, or then obviously you don't in certain case maybe you don't want to start upgrading from the scratch. For that, maybe I feel like at the end of the campaign, the last map, then you don't want to start out by upgrading from scratch. So maybe few things are already researched, and maybe you only have to upgrade the last one. So those things you can establish from here, and you can press on OK and it will be done. By the way, this is what I've created, just a little thing from the doodles area, nothing much. Haven't even really applied raise or anything, but I forgot to tell one thing. There's actually two other things as well in unit unit, that is the neutral, hostile, and neutral passive. Is Besimals things that are like humans and that won't attack you, but things you can kill them, like chickens. Depending on the area, it has different things. Like for example, here even bears, but these are you can attack them, but they won't attack you. Type of bears. Or you can have by going on campaign. Actually, these are in the campaign. You can, since I have created a little farm area over here, you can place some male villagers, some female villagers, and some children as well. Neutral passives. And then neutral hostiles are actually the creatures that you kill throughout the map. Since this is Lordaeron, there are obviously going to be trolls, and let's say we have a forest troll, level 6 forest troll, and a level 3 Morlock over here. Let's put the rescue hunters over up here in the hill. So maybe we can rescue some ghouls, some abomination, and just like that. That's pretty much covers, I think, everything at the most basic level for World of Warcraft 3 World Editor. And once your map has been created, just click on save over here and see what it looks like. So as you can see, the name of the map is also chapter 1 intro, and since this is more of a campaign map, we have that name, which is fine. Otherwise you can have different names over here. And obviously this is the author, Silent Viper, the description we made, the suggested player, the map size, and now we just create the map. And so as you can see, this is the campaign screen for right after calling of Stathon. And as you can see, it says the intro chapter 1. I guess the chapter 1 but whatever. should have been up. I think maybe that. And now when we start the game, as you can see, we won't have a bunch of we're going to start. As you can see, we have shared vision with these guys, because we have shared vision on, but we can't control them. And we don't have 4 peons or 4 workers to start off immediately, which means this is not a melee campaign. I'm going to take him over here to rescue our undead, because that is what I'm trying to show, rather than fight. And you can see, as we go here, they have been rescued. If we had disabled them, then these 2 wouldn't show up here unless upgraded and stuff like that. And since we don't have victory condition, the map doesn't end. This is it for today's part for how to get started in Warcraft 3 World Editor. This is how you do things. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video and want more Warcraft 3 World Editor tutorials, then comment down below and like and subscribe for more Warcraft 3 and gaming videos. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye and take care.